Episode 2. The fight begins. The servitor spasmed violently, its mechanical limbs jerking with unnatural force as it attempted to rise. Sparks flared from the deep incisions where flesh had been crudely sutured to metal. A garbled burst of binary escaped its damaged vox grill, distorting into something eerily close to a human scream. The room erupted into chaos. Bry was the first to react, instinct taking over. With a purposeful step forward, he drew his power sword, its energy field crackling to life with a fierce hum.
Weapons up!
He barked as he brought the blade down in a controlled arc, slicing deep into the servitor's exposed cybernetics. The corrupted machine let out another static-laced shriek, sparks bursting from the wound. Seamus had already taken position, pressing himself against the shadows near a column of failing cogitators. His las rifle snapped to his shoulder, and he exhaled slowly, steadying his aim.
Aye, let's see how these things handle precision,
he muttered. He squeezed the trigger, sending a thin crimson beam straight into the servitor's exposed skull. The shot melted through the metal, and the creature crumpled, twitching violently. But it wasn't alone. More servitors stirred from the darkness beyond, their dull red optics flashing to life as they lurched toward the team. Agatha tightened her grip on her staff, her heart hammering against her ribs.
They shouldn't be doing this,
she said, her voice sharp with disbelief. Servitors weren't meant to fight. They were mindless machines, laborers, not warriors. And yet these things moved with a disturbing sense of purpose. Dendrock barely hesitated, his mechadendrites flaring outward.
Corruption detected. Purging required,
he intoned in a flat, emotionless voice. With an efficient motion, he raised his Volkite serpenter, discharging a blast of burning energy into the nearest servitor. The machine staggered, half of its head searing away in an explosion of molten metal and charred flesh. Bry gritted his teeth.
Then we take them down.
The servitors closed in, their motions jerky, their limbs twitching unnaturally, as if they were fighting against some unseen force.
Cover me,
Seamus called as he slid along a workstation, keeping his head low while adjusting the sights on his rifle.
I need a clean shot at the big one.
Agatha swung her staff like a mace, slamming it against a servitor's skull. The heavy blow cracked metal plating, sending the abomination staggering.
You focus on your shot. I'll keep these things away from you,
she shouted back. Dendrock stepped forward, his mechadendrites lashing out like striking vipers, each one equipped with cutting tools and electrogoads.
Analyzing structural weaknesses,
he muttered, his lenses flashing as he targeted servitors at their weakest points. With a precise movement, he plunged a whirring drill tip into a servitor's exposed circuitry, causing it to convulse violently before collapsing.
Efficient,
he noted. Bry ducked as a servitor swung at him with a jagged mechanical arm, narrowly missing his head. He countered with a brutal upward slash, cleaving through the servitor's shoulder joint. The machine staggered, its balance thrown off, before Seamus's shot rang out, a las beam piercing its skull.
That's 3 for me.
Seamus quipped.
Anyone keeping score?
Just keep shooting,
Bry snapped. The servitors advanced, their footfalls heavy against the grated floor. Some bore industrial tools in place of hands, saws, drills, and clamps repurposed for slaughter. Their inhuman moans echoed through the chamber. Seamus took another shot, his rifle's report sharp against the mechanical groans.
Damn things don't know when to quit,
he muttered as another servitor went down. Agatha moved with precision, swinging her staff like a mace, the reinforced plating cracking against the skull of a servitor lunging too close.
They aren't just malfunctioning,
she said between strikes.
Someone did this to them!
Bry hacked through another enemy, the servitor collapsing in a heap of twitching limbs.
That tech priest we're after.
He grunted, stepping back.
This has his handiwork all over it.
Dendrock moved methodically, sidestepping an incoming servitor while plugging a mechadendrite into an exposed data conduit on a fallen unit.
Attempting data retrieval.
He reported.
Processing.
His lenses flickered.
No conventional logic detected. These units have been reprogrammed at a fundamental level. The machine spirits resist.
Seamus scoffed, ducking behind a metal support beam.
So, in short, we're dealing with some tech heresy on a grand scale.
Agatha struck another servitor down, breathing heavily.
Then we put an end to it.
The last servitor collapsed in a pile of sparking metal and ruined flesh, its mechanical limbs twitching as its corrupted programming faded. The chamber fell into an uneasy silence, the only sound the hiss of leaking coolant and the crackling of damaged cogitators. Seamus wiped his forehead with the back of his sleeve, exhaling sharply.
Well, that was fun. Anyone else feel like we just walked into something much worse?
Bry didn't respond immediately. His eyes were fixed on the far side of the room, where the red glow of a console flickered erratically. Then they heard it, a slow, deliberate clank of metal boots against the grated floor. Emerging from the darkness, half shrouded in the flickering light, was a towering figure draped in deep crimson robes. A tech priest. But something was wrong. His limbs were grotesquely elongated, augmented beyond standard specifications, his augmetics bristling with unholy modifications. Wires ran beneath his robes like veins, and his head, half human, half machine, ticked slightly to one side as he regarded them. "You are too late," the tech priest rasped, his voice a metallic echo. "The machine god speaks a new dialect now, and soon all will heed its voice." Agatha's grip on her staff tightened.
You did this.
The tech priest inclined his head slightly, as though amused. "Correction. I corrected what was broken. The weak are reshaped. The old ways are obsolete." Bry took a step forward, leveling his power sword.
You're coming with us.
The tech priest laughed, a grating mechanical sound. "No." With a flick of his wrist, the room's lumens flickered and died, plunging them into darkness. By the time their eyes adjusted to the emergency lighting, he was gone. Seamus spat.
Slippery bastard.
Dendrock scanned the area.
He has escaped. Pursuit unfeasible in current conditions.
Bry exhaled through his nose.
Then we find another way.